Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, if you're seeing some of the stuff on the map today on Tali Hantala, you're saying to yourself, this doesn't look right, do not attempt to adjust your sets. This actually is a modded replay from the Cope tournament. Ryan, who do we have? What the heck is going on here?
On the left-hand side in the blue, we have the Holy Cope, otherwise known as Flieger, playing as Russell Spring with a Vanguard income. Right-hand side in red, we have Khers playing first DFL, also a Vanguard income. So this is a replay from the Cope tournament running right now on SDL. It's pretty much a massive overhaul mod to rebalance run v runs, and it just changes the entire game for the better. It's the same person, Gensei, who did the 1v1 competitive mod. It's just a continuation of that.
Yeah, and it's kind of fascinating. I mean, there's a lot of little things, tiny little things, and it might seem like, but a really, really great quality of life improvements. We did see, actually, one of the light armored cars over here was at 221, I think. No, AB43. Go down just now over here for the Germans. But small little things. Fighter craft can actually slow down when they engage and intercept. HP rebalanced quite a bit. So a lot of like little nifty, tiny things you don't really notice until you kind of think that it's kind of unfair that IL2s make it out 85% of the time kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much to stop the current batter of just kind of infantry support weapon spam and to try to make tanks and mobile, like armored vehicles, more useful. We're not making them too silly. Pretty much trying to push for more mobile gameplay rather than, you know, where especially 1v1s on certain maps can get quite static.
Yeah, but we are seeing some of the earlier tanks over here on this match still not able to survive particularly well. We have an Panzer going down in the south central position. No one's still up and running, but I think he's just because no one is getting close enough. Although that Pimp over there is not going to be too pleasant very soon.
Yeah, we got a pretty nice little push here from Khers, of course, using those fantastic DSL infantry, and yeah, managing to get through the forest to flank about. Yeah, the Bimp does have those bazookas, which will be easy to kill on the Panzer 2. The question is, will Khers be able to get into the town?
Probably, unless the the P2 over here is the only name in town that keeps him pushed back. And if the Bimp goes down, actually, then at that point, yeah, the P2 might as well be a Panzer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is a Panzer, but like a scary Panzer.
A better Panzer. A Panzer
Exactly.
2x2, which is a Panzer 4.
Exactly. A P2 with both of its legs on. A bomber coming in, though, and just obliterating that right there. What was that? 17. So, taking out that entire push, it is now completely gone, and we're back to a bit of a status quo.
Yeah, honestly, Khers tried to make a early, Vanguard, or both sides playing Vanguard, push happen, but just got pushed back, and also, well, Flieger's been doing a pretty good job with his armored cars in the center, just really slowing down any of these reinforcements here from Khers, and Khers is now forcing to invest a little bit more in some armored vehicles, those M4, A4 Shermans, to try and level the playing field with 75mm shells.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this right now, because that M4 goes to its desired position. There's a lovely little Pack 38 who's just kind of, calmly repositioning. And should get a nice little side shot in about, 400 meters, 500 meters. It'll get pretty nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just looking at the rest of the map, down south, pretty damn static, really nothing crazy. And the same thing up north, we have a decent defensive line here with Flieger with flat guns and machine guns and light guns all over the place, ready to deter any northern aggression.
Well, and here's the thing, just taking a look back at the DFL kind of intended Air Force, there's that one Marauder that actually can cause a bit of a hassle, but actually there's not as much air power as there otherwise could be. Pack 38, by the way, engaging that Sherman, and they're also lofting 75mm shells from every direction. Naturally going after the IG-18, but the Pack 38 bailed out. Oh, this actually is one thing that I love about this. So this mod right here actually does allow Boita on the field.
Yeah, which is actually a really fun little mechanic.
Yeah.
It's a little gamey, but he doesn't want to capture a Tin Tiger. Like, come on.
But like, and look at it this way, like, it's so hard to get in the first place. If you're gonna be gutsy enough to actually put stuff out there, you might as well get something out of it. So that is so freaking cool. It's one of the things I've wanted to see for such a long time. So thank you so much for putting that in.
Indeed. Yeah, just looking at his push here from Flieger, he's got all his SS Mountain Jaegers, making a decent push, dealing with the command battery. And apart from these Shermans, I think Khers' front line is starting to look a little bit weak in the center here.
Yeah, that mod deuce isn't going to be enough to actually keep everything at arm's length. But the M10 down south, sliding around. What the heck is he doing with him? Oh, he wants to slide him up. Oh, that's intriguing. I mean, not maybe
Oh
my first
yeah.
thought. But if you're looking at kind of putting him on that southern shore of that tiny little pond, I mean, there's not a lot of immediate kind of death and destruction to be achieved. And while we're seeing a Greyhound being sloped around to the southern side here as well, Pack 38 being moved up to match him in the opposite area. So, curious.
It's
Very curious.
definitely good game feel, yeah, from Flieger, bringing in that pack gun as well as the LG, because that's going to help. Well, part of the LG just goes down from the M8. Being able to at least shore up his defenses, and even just that M10 position across the lake, like you're saying, fantastic spot. He needs to leverage his firepower, especially around the flanks here, if he wants to keep trying to make these pushes into the town. Because the problem pushing into this town is that the front of it from Khers is kind of a big line of sight blocker, and then the entire rear end of it, you can just, put units all over the place and just shoot anything which crosses the other side.
But I think that's what the M10 over here is actually being placed to, let's say, to put it mildly, to discourage.
Hmm.
Which is a really, really interesting idea. Now, unfortunately for him, he still can't stick a Gebirgsjäger over there in the forest. And as fanatical as those Legionnaires are going to be, they're still taking some pretty significant losses getting into the trees themselves.
Yeah, the Gebirgsjägers are going to be quite nasty deal at CQC, but he just needs more dudes, more fire support, and he should be able to, I think, actually break into his town. Actually, up north, Holy Cope does have like a decent amount of fire support here to cut off reinforcements.
Actually, I thought you were going to talk about the push over here for Gebirgsjägers and Gebirgs Pioneer. After that one Legionnaire squad, yes, they got to take some firepower from the M4, but that's cool. I mean, okay, waste all of your HE shells, you're not going to do significant damage over here. And if anything, you could probably threaten a redeployment of a lot of resources to the northern side, which DFL, while the infantry is great, they really can't afford that on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm. Oh, same that Junkers, taking a whole heap of flak fire. Really survive, Let's do both those guns. Oh, there we go.
I was going to say he shouldn't, and that was one of the things, again, that I was kind of mentioning before, is that as spiffy as all the HP redesigns might be, some of the people have been hit pretty hard and nerfed, actually, in my mind, quite a bit, was the bomber kind of command on every side. They've dropped a lot of HP on the bombers themselves. And again, I agree with. They seem to be a lot more fragile than I think the base game makes them out to be.
Yeah, you've got to really think about where you're deploying your bombers and using artillery effectively to suppress anti-aircraft positions before you go in ham with the ring of Stukas.
Well, it might be dead now, but that Stuka did at least unmask that 140 mic down south. We see that 105. That Czech howitzer throwing rounds downrange at that, and probably should be able to take it out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Getting some pretty accurate fire. I mean, once again, anti-aircraft guns are always a little bit more vulnerable from ground fire. So it should be just a few hits, if the gun can actually get some direct hits.
If is always such an interesting word. Second Sherman running afoul of that same Pack 38. The Pack 38 APCR is now completely gone, so if we're looking at really, again, its penetration values, not super stellar. I mean, technically there's enough, but you want to be shooting from the side at this point.
Yeah. Definitely better at close quarters. So honestly, his position has been a pretty cheap investment here for Flieger, and it's definitely saved his butt. He may not have been able to completely deal with so far Khers' forest position just south of his town, but it has relieved a little bit of pressure because now Khers needs to invest in getting some fire support and recon to try to shut down this little, IG-18 Pack 38 position set up here from Flieger.
By the way, one thing we did not mention is that infantry is nowhere near as good nowhere as successful, let's say, actually, if I can actually speak English today, at using their Mark One eyeballs. One of the things that this mod actually does quite a bit is it says you must have recon. You can no longer just have guys walk point and unmask defenses with their eyes. They're going to get hammered hard.
Mm-hmm. It's a very nice change, because we've seen time and time again, just people don't use recon because you can afford not to.
Exactly. Exactly. M10 of the center goes down, by the way. So 75 mil IG-18 and that Pack 38 50 mil. Like you said, super cheap, super effective, and super efficient. Really, really interesting right there. P-47, I think, actually going after that particular position doesn't get there in time. There's enough ground fire. I would be very surprised if he makes it out.
There's a lot of 20 mils here. We've even seen an Italian plane trying to go on in, but both sides have a pretty deep anti-aircraft net. And we are seeing down south, Khers is trying to open up a second front. He's been doing some small probing actions, you could say. But now he's really starting to invest a bit more by getting some more Legionnaire troops.
Also, I think the Italian aircraft went down. The Tourney 17 isn't just yet, but he's going to take a lot of fire as well. Jeez, I cannot believe how ineffective air power now is in this mod. We haven't used this mod in forever, and I'm actually like all the changes are insane at this point.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really nice change of pace from vanilla.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I guess taking a half a second here as we've seen the second front being opened, going back to actually Flieger's kind of air tab. He's got 16 aircraft over here's potential in A phase. I don't know how much I actually really like that allocation. I feel like you probably could be a little bit more efficient on some of the artillery instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because as we're seeing, if you invest so much in air power here, and if you're not able to bring in the artillery to counteract all those anti-aircraft guns, your air power is pretty much useless here. Mia's getting another 75 or a 75mm. Oh no, that's an IG-18. Never mind. That's not proper artillery gun. He needs more of those 105s. Is what I'm trying to say. He needs one or two more of them so he can do some more effective counter battery. Because once again, Stuka tries to go in. Stuka is now flying away. We have many more holes than it first had.
Yeah, but I think we just call this air brakes when it dives. I mean, it's screaming is screaming. So if it's a successful scream, that's great. If it's not, then that's fine too, right?
Yeah. Oh, up north we're actually seeing
like
another front being opened up here. Some sneaky SS troops moving through. The Sherman, really the only thing holding this entire front.
Yeah, that and that Bimp. And you gotta again remind that there's a Tiraillé moving in, but that's a single squad against a bunch of SS troopers. Not really what I want to be dealing with on a consistent basis, especially not when there's 4 more being thrown back in there. Of course, I would say at least 2 of these are going to get killed by that Sherman before they get anywhere close to the front lines.
Yeah, and this is gonna be a bit of an issue right now, because that one Sherman is gonna be a huge pain in the ass, because none of the infantry currently here do have anti-tank.
This is certainly true. I'm watching as the southern town actually goes in Khers' favor over here. 20 mils, not able to blow apart those Legionnaires, and indeed, all the investment on the northern side has meant that the south really will not rise again.
Oh.
No matter how many of those Italian tanks you stick in there.
Yeah, it's quite interesting seeing just after, the first 15 minutes or so of, well, 14 minutes actually, of just the grind in the center. Both sides have really started to try to open up other flanks up north and down south. And on Tali Hantula, this is not a great map for attacking on the flanks, as this is a pretty choke pointy map. But we're seeing both sides do somewhat decently here. More so of Khers down south, as the central success is also playing quite well to the southern attack.
That was the thing I was going to mention over here, is that, yes, we're seeing the southern push be really, really effective, but the reason that it was so effective is you can already concentrate new forces in a minutely different area, but still benefit from all the investment you made previously. So, I mean, it works nearly perfectly.
Yeah, and also just getting all those, elite DFL infantry. I mean, he's managed to do a good infantry push all the way down south to capture Island Flag, which is usually kind of hard flag to attack unless you capture the bridge, which is quite a bit of a way around. You should be able to hold it. And also, one of the advantages fighting against Rosselsprung, not a whole lot of proper armored units you have to worry about.
Which is good because as solid as M10s and Shermans can be, DFL's not exactly blessed with a deep tank tab either.
No, you really have to make use of the few tanks you do get available to you.
Down south, that bridge isn't being lost yet, but neither is it necessarily too far. It's just kind of it's in the the near-ish future. Unfortunately for them, for at least for right now, the DFL not able to be successful. Northern side, by the way, checking back in. There's a Pioneer who got really behind enemy lines and is now getting pinched.
Yes, you should be able to deal with that one Legionnaire troop. Oh no, the Legionnaire troop is actually being brought up, I think, in a more defensive manner to deal with the Pioneer. And then the M3 Stuart as well. So yeah, it's getting a little like sentry post here to try to pin that dude down.
Which isn't a terrible idea, but I feel like Holy Cope right now is saying, hey, I gotta be really, really shoving someplace. Because of right now, he's not doing so hot.
He's trying to go. Oh, he does actually.
Bergsager! Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, they do have anti-tank grenades.
Yes, they do. That's one thing we don't see. Yes, sir. Please.
Oh yeah, because they have the Raider icon. Raider icon overwrites the anti-tank icon. I completely forgot about that.
No, I completely forgot about that too. Thinking to myself, oh great, these guys are gonna go on in. They're gonna just like start tossing a little bit of hand grenades. That's gonna be fun. But with that dead, the northern side is actually not anywhere near as solid as it was even 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, we're just seeing a whole heap of these SS Gebirgsjägers just making fantastic progress here. You should be able to capture the one flag where the 50 cal is. The question is really try to go full Monty and capture the flag by the lake up north, as that is quite a bit of a distance. It's very close to the enemy spawn, but he is knocking out his forest quite successfully.
Well, if he goes full Monty, just make sure there's no kids around, because that's indecent exposure, and that's just not a pleasant thing for sure. But the 12-7 is doing pretty well right now, and they should be able to hold at least until the Stewart gets into that same area. And I think now that he's been gently reminded that the infantry does have anti-tank grenades, he's not going to be anywhere near as excessively brave with that Stewart.
Yeah. I also just want to take a quick note here to say I really love how Khers' support tab, it's completely filled of only machine gun teams.
But like, that actually I think I like more, and it fits better into that entire style that we've been thinking about since the word go. Because if you think about it, the infantry is a base of fire and then you advance, and so kind of working along with the vehicles itself. Like I said, I don't know, 5 minutes ago or so, DFL isn't necessarily blessed with that, so you need to have firepower be given another way. And for 26 points per, or 40 points for the I would say air quotes American Modus, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, the Legionnaire machine guns are definitely extremely valuable because you got the high veterancy and the fanatical trait as well. They can provide excellent base of fire. I guess the one problem here for Khers is no supply trucks, so hopefully none of his tanks have breakdowns. Or bail out.
Ooh, you mean that the one in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, hero infantry over here does go down just now. Tranape, I'm probably butchering it somehow, did go down, so let's continue the proud legacy of hero units dying everywhere. And the second town, this is a town that we don't see aggressed upon very often. You see, whether that first time we've been seeing it thus far, in the kind of north central position inside that kind of intersection, but this second southern town is actually coming over a heavy attack here.
Yeah, it's honestly quite surprising because it is extremely close to the enemy spawn. I mean, DFL can fight pretty effectively in CQC, same thing for Rosselsprung, to be fair. Because most of the time you just see people take that first town, set up a decent base of fire, and then you just kind of shut down the open field and just kind of hold like a decent defensive line between the town and the lake down south. But Khers is going to go aggressive. He's taking casualties, so I don't think this is going to last all that long.
But it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. I mean, think about it. We're going into Phase C. DFL's already gotten through the worst of it, which is, oh dear God, how are we going to stop off any kind of AFE rushes on the other side? And what do they have to fight against now? There's a couple of Italian tanks you can bring in. Great, 20-point tanks or 25-point tanks. It's almost not even worth calling them anything.
Hmm.
The air power we've already seen being kind of neutered. At this point, the infantry itself, what do you have to worry about? Brandenburgers? Okay, yeah, they're scary, but they're not enough for me to kind of go and really be, waving the old white flag there either.
Yeah, it's going to be about whether these Maquisards can actually push on through and actually do something decent here. Oh, I kind of doubt it. He's running out of that all-important fire support to make his push happen.
Just over my mind here, I forgot that the whole Marquis Sarge militia trait for this, so 10%, 15% rate of fire penalties. They don't scale veterancy, and nothing can be can be separated over here by leader influence. Yeah, jeez. 0.5% suppression onward, they get a lot more damage, and a lot more damage, and a lot more damage. Wow. I really forgot how poor these guys actually are.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not very well trained at all. We're seeing another amount of German bombers being brought in, but those Bofors are just going in hard. I mean, we've seen the 105 try to do its best in the counter-battery row, almost killing one. Once again, it feels like he needs another heavy artillery piece if he wants to, unbottleneck his bombers from not being able to do anything.
Yeah, and that's an awful heavy investment for somebody who, at this point, is only getting 100. So, not a pleasant opportunity here. There is a P2 down south, though, who is doing his best to push back those militia.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best you can say right now.
Yeah, the southern push is just slowly really not looking good anymore here for Khers. It's just, he's throwing in a bunch of bodies of the Maquisards, but just looking behind him, there's not a whole lot of substance yet. Oh, the P-47, that was pretty cool. Bombed a unit and then just did a head-on against the plane and killed him.
Now, you're right that the southern push is certainly bogging down. I'd invite you to check out the northern side, though, too. There's a Legionnaire squad, and it's 14-10, so it's not like things are fully inverted here. But the north certainly belongs to, to Unternehmen and Russell Sprung over here. It's just the south that is just awful.
Yeah, but I feel like for south, he will be able to eventually... oh no, actually, it's also not looking too great for Russell Sprung, just because of all the heavy investment up north. And now with the Sherman and the M10, that's more than enough fire support to get these Maquisards into that bloody town.
Yes, it is. I'm just taking a look over here at Khers' kind of artillery tab. Does he have anything himself to bring on in? He's got a couple stovepipes.
Also bring in, is that Long Tom?
Yeah, the 155.
Yeah. So he could really bring in some rather heavy firepower. It might be a little bit overkill in this current predicament. I think he's more happy just using all these M4s.
That's the thing. Get a couple stovepipes, drop some smoke, and push. Like, to me, I think that is a bit of a missed opportunity. I am saying that to a guy who's been up 14-10 or 13-11 over here for quite a bit of time. But stovepipes, break the deadlock. If nothing else, what you can do is you can drop smoke and push to the northern side, just inside that second town. Pick up a flag. Maybe if you're feeling really kind of frisky, you can curve back east. Like, you have a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah, down south, like, using some smoke would be a very good idea, because these Maquisards, I mean, their main values is using those standard Molotovs and long range, especially against this SS German infantry in Brandenburg with all the MG42s. Not going to be the best idea.
No, it will not. Especially the sniper rifles and the snipers, too. I mean, on the scout squads. Thank God these things don't have double snipers. I would say at that point, the Marquis Sards would be suppressed 8 ways to Sunday.
Yeah.
Quick note, though. Northern side, M10 goes down. And now at this point, there's very little between Holy Cope and picking up 2 flags very, very easily. Potentially 3.
Oh,
there's like practically nothing here now suddenly.
Yeah, he's really managed to exploit like a massive weak point in Khers' line. It's gonna be about whether he has the speed and momentum to, take advantage of this before Khers actually brings in any defenses here. Because if he pushes, where his northern infantry are down south into that town area, that shuts down a very important supply line.
It does. That'd be an incursion that he can't really get pushed back, and Khers sees that too. Oh no, we get a DC. Oh
DC.
man. All right.
Damn, but
Now,
I want to say I'd give that victory to Flieger. He was definitely getting that maneuver advantage towards the end.
and that's what I was going to say here too. Is that it's curious that for the longest time it was very, very difficult, but but really well played back over here by Flieger, not kind of getting rocked back on his heels and just coming back swinging. It was really, really skillfully done.
Yeah, like very just effective back and forth between both sides. Looking at the kills here, I mean, Martel doing decent.
Of course, he's the hammer.
Of course, yeah. Nothing else really all that crazy on the kill side, however.
Fritz, on the other hand, he is definitely not on the Fritz today.
Oh, decent. Pole.
But other than that, for the most part, it was a rather even playing field. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and honestly, quite a mobile match considering both divisions aren't exactly all that mechanized. And also on Taliahantala, which is notoriously a very choke pointy map.
Yeah, true. True. I mean, also, too, I mean, the thing about this are body blows back and forth for two divisions that are also not that meaty either.
Mm-hmm.
But please, guys, if you like what you saw with this mod, please let us know. We'd love to kind of continue casting this material over here. I think we have another one over here on Thursday. Am I right?
We do.
We do. So, folks, you definitely want to come back and check out some more of this competitive balance mod. Until then, though, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.